Hello, my name's Cassidy Penumbra, and as you know, Deltarune Chapter 5 comes out very soon. By the time you're seeing this, probably tomorrow. So, I just wanted to take some time to get my thoughts out, my last few thoughts about the chapter, my predictions, stuff I have had the idea of, and I want to be able to say, ha ha ha, I told you so, if it happens. So, yeah, I'm just taking my chance now. I'm gonna start with some secret boss stuff, because I feel like everyone that you hear about Chapter 5, you want to talk about the secret boss. Woody from Toy Story. Okay, jokes aside, I think Friend Inside Me has a legitimate chance of, happening, because we know that, Asgore's favorite show was the cowboy puppet show that is just Woody's Roundup. So I think it's likely, it's not impossible. Especially given that we see, like, canyons in the Chapter 5 trailer. But another issue is what we, like, see primarily in the Chapter 5 trailer, which is Japanese architecture. Which famously, Friend Inside Me isn't Japanese. Although I would like to bring up Toy Story 2 again, where, Woody and the gang, where were they going? Sorry, where was Al selling them to? The museum in what country? Anyway, the Japanese architecture leads into something a bit more likely, considering the Dark World's general theming of the Flower King being plants. Apple Girlington, who I learned about. I've known about Apple Girlington for a while, but I finally took the time to figure out what her deal is. And oh my god, why is she gonna be the secret boss of Chapter 5? Apple Girlington has a decent chance of appearing. The song he used to introduce Apple Girlington was, one of them was called, Magical Hop-Along Cassidy Station, which, station implies to me a train station, but what's important about it being a station is the Floridin, I actually don't know. The Floridin reveal post that Toby did on his Blue Sky, showed one of the Floridins in a conductor's outfit. Which means that there's a decent chance of us going to, Magical Hop-Along Cassidy Station. Alternatively, you know where else trains were popular? The Wild West! Friend Inside Me, baby! And of course I want to bring up the obvious, like, the probably most likely one, Image Friend, or Device Friend, whatever you want to call it. The Tale of Hell, Michael, I don't know. I think it makes sense with Chapter 5 being described as the field of pink and gold, and obviously Friend's eyes are pink and gold. And Asgore's in kind of a similar situation to Spamton, where he's down his luck. Like, he would be willing to take a deal from Friend, I think. My final thing I want to say about a secret boss, that I don't think is particularly likely, as, the Forgotten Man. Both the Egg and Shadow Crystal quests only have, like, one more, like, there's only one more egg, one more Shadow Crystal. We know this from Sham directly saying, hey, there's only one more Shadow Crystal, and the Forgotten Man's schedule only goes up till Chapter 5, with harvesting the wheat. So, there's one of each. I do think, even if he's not the Shadow Boss, we will fight the Forgotten Man in Chapter 5. I hope so, anyway. I'd really like to. I think it would be a really cool fight. As I've said in my last, like, actual video I made that wasn't just Penumbra Freddy, I think the Forgotten Man is Grandpa Sammy, and I think an interesting thing to do would be to use the Forgotten Man Grandpa Sammy boss fight to introduce cyan and orange attack, or blue and orange attacks. An observation I made a while ago, which I haven't seen anyone talk about, is that the secret bosses that use unique soul modes, so Spamton Neo and Garson, they not only have, like, ties to characters who use those soul modes in Undertale, but they also have ties to the soul traits of justice and kindness. In a way. Spamton, most likely, given how he is as a person, sees getting the Neo body as a form of justice for the wrongdoings that happened to him. And I say wrongdoings in big quotes, because, I don't know, he's kinda evil, I think. Yeah, I don't think Spamton is a good person, shocker. But I do think Spamton himself would see getting the Neo body as a form of justice for what happened to him. And Gerson, I don't think I have to explain why Gerson is kind, but, like, I'll do it. Gerson's very kind to Susie. He helps her, like, realize her potential with her healing magic. Like, Gerson's a very kind individual. But what I want to bring up for the soul traits for Cyan and Orange are patience and bravery. And my reasoning for this, we know the Forgotten Man is a therapist, and I want to say that being a therapist, and, like, you'd have to be very patient to listen to, like, the problems you're being told, especially if it's someone like Chris, who I don't see opening up, like, instantly. I see them taking a lot of time to open up. And the patient, it's a very brave thing to talk to someone about, like, issues you may have. So the very relationship of therapist and patient represents the patience and bravery souls. They represent the traits of patience and bravery. So I do think that even if it's not Grandpa Semi, the Forgotten Man should use blue and orange attacks, because it should be a solo Chris fight using blue and orange attacks, because the relationship between therapist and patient represents, like, the traits of patience and bravery, in my opinion. So I think that would work really well. And also, I just really wanted to say the, like, Spamton justice and the, like, Gerson kindness, like, things that, like, I noticed that a while ago. I just haven't had a good opportunity to talk about it now. And I didn't know what to use it for, until I came up with the, like, Grandpa Semi patient thing. Like, once I realized that, I was like, oh, that's how this makes sense. Some other general thoughts for the chapter. Obviously, I think Asgore is going to be the main boss. I don't think there's much argument there. I think it makes the most sense. I think we're going to learn a lot about Des this chapter, considering Asgore also has one of the conspiracy boards that Carol has. He seems very involved with the Des appearance. I think the Patience Soul attack thing from the trailer is most likely the Patience Soul, like the Patience Flower. I think the flowers will be representations of the fallen humans to a certain extent. I think this would be the chapter where we meet Gaster. I think the cliffhanger reveal, because chapter 3 and 4 had cliffhanger endings, but chapter 5 was supposed to release with them originally, so I think the chapter 5 cliffhanger will be a bigger one. And I think meeting Gaster would be the perfect thing for that. I think meeting WD Gaster in chapter... And I want to call attention to that 110 line that has been milked to death, where he's like, the 6 p.m. show, I'll show it at 5 p.m. I know that line's been milked to death, but I think it works for Gaster, who is so heavily tied to the number 6, that, like, appearing in, like, the 6 p.m. show, he's the 6 p.m. show, it being shown in 5, at 5 is, I'm going to reveal Gaster in chapter 5. He's also green and in between in the middle, brother of Sans and Papyrus. Just want to get my thoughts out there. Yeah, Greenster, Broster, I don't know. The only 2 things I have written down other than secret boss things are Susie Carol Nighter which, it basically is the theory that Susie is going to think Carol is the knight. I think that's a logical conclusion. So you're like, Chris, so you know how Carol's, like, evil and has a sword? You know who else? I think Carol's the knight, Chris! Yeah, I think Susie would be a Carol Knighter. I personally think it's Vess, and I think we're gonna get the knight's identity reveal maybe in Chapter 5, because I think, or at least the reveal that Chris is working with them for, so I think Susie will find out Chris is working with the knight, or we'll get the knight's identity, or both. In an ideal world, we will get both. And the only other thing I have written down is Banish the Knight, which is not a Chapter 5 prediction. This is just, I don't think we'll ever be able to, like, defeat the knight via sparing it or attacking it. I think we will have to use, like, the Banish act. Because the knight looks very similar to a Titan in the Fountains. I think that, like, using the light inside your soul to banish the knight instead of just killing it makes some amount of sense, anyway. Another thing regarding the knight that I didn't have written down but I just remembered is, why they look like that. And I want to call attention to Undyne the Undying, who has been depicted in multiple pieces of official artwork with the, like, black and white armor that she has in her sprites in Undertale that looks the same as the knight's armor. And we know that Undyne the Undying's armor is canonically made of determination. Like, you attack her, and she's like, no, I refuse to die, and she has determination in that moment. And that's why she transforms. And we also know from Chapter 2 that to make a dark fountain, you have to have determination. So I think it's very interesting that the knight looks like that. I think that the knight's armor is, like, made of determination. I think the knight is very determined. I think that could also explain why they're, like, gloopy. Because when we first see them in Chapter 3, they, like, droop down, and they're dripping. And it's not coming from their face, it's coming from, like, beneath their head, so it's not, like, it's not crying, it's not tears, it's not drool, because we know the knight's eye is also, like, their mouth and their visor. They have one thing on their face, it just changes to fit whatever they want to do in that moment. They want to laugh at Susie, they can laugh at Susie, they want to see, they can see. The knight is made of determination, is my point. The knight is made of determination. Again, don't know how that relates to Chapter 5, don't think we're finding that out in Chapter 5. I don't know, this is my thoughts. OST predictions, why the fuck not? Amphitheater, that Yume Neki's song that he released at the same time as Waltz of Skamasada, which is the man's theme. I think Amphitheater will be used in Chapter 5. We know that it's going to be used at some point because of the Bibliox at Festival. I think that might have the Happy Town motif. Okay, how do I think the chapter will begin? That's a good thing to bring up, that I've got my list of, like, my predictions for Chapter 5. The Undertale. Okay, I should elaborate. It's a beautiful day outside, birds are singing, flowers are blooming. On days like these, kids like you should be going to the festival. From Sans. Yeah, he's still there. I hate him. I want him dead. I think we will get one of the shelter codes this chapter. And I think it's the police badge one that Asgore would have because he used to be, like, part of the police force. So I think Asgore has the code, and, like, you defeat him, and Susie's like, can we get the code? We need to get into the shelter to save Undyne. She was taken by the knight. And Asgore were like, yes, of course, it's whatever the code is. So I think we will get the police badge shelter code. We know, the player knows that the pine tree is 1225 or 1225, or the death number. So yeah, it's we know one of them think we're gonna get the second one in Chapter 5, and then we'll get the final one. What is the final one? The Deltarune one. We'll get that one in Chapter 6, unless it is the, like, the door lock code that we get from the fire extinguisher guy, but I doubt that's it, so it would be 2202, I think. I don't know, I don't remember the code that the fire extinguisher gives you off the top of your head. I'm very sorry, I'm a fake Deltarune fan. Back to what I was actually saying, my fucking OST stuff. An apple disaster! No, but yeah. I think we'll get a song just called Roots, and it'll be Friends theme, because the song's digital and bit roots are connected to places Friend was at one point. So I think Roots is Friend's motif, and I think we'll get the full original song in Chapter 5. Speaking of getting the full original song, I think we will hear the full version of Flashback. Today, the day I'm recording this, Toby released The Field of Seven Suns, I think he called it, like an early demo of that, which, in my the first thing I did today was listen to that song. In my, like, just awake state, the ending of it sounded like Gaster's theme, but I don't know how right that actually is. I'll put a note up on screen if I still think it sounds like Gaster's theme now that I'm actually awake. Okay, hi, quick amendment, this is being filmed after the fact. The song is not called Field of Seven Suns, it's called Sunset of Seven Suns. Jesus Christ, why did he name it that? And second of all, I know I wasn't crazy, that main melody is Gaster's theme. I can hear it, I swear I'm not losing it, I swear I'm not insane. That's Gaster's theme. You gotta believe me, please! But the important part is the lower piano melody. It was pointed out to me that it sounds an awful lot like Penumbra Phantasm. It sounds kind of like the Doctor motif, which the Doctor motif itself is not going to show up. But the fact that it, like, this part of this song sounds even remotely similar to Penumbra Phantasm is alarming, because now we have 3 examples of songs kind of sounding like Penumbra Phantasm. The Holy, Dump, and now Field of Seven Suns. I think it still has a chance. I think it could be Gaster's battle theme. I don't know. I want it to, I just don't think it will. General predictions again, I think Asriel will show up in Chapter 5, I think. We know from newsletter drama last year that Toby considers Sunday the start of the week. And we know that Chapter 5 takes place on a Sunday, so I think that works well with Toriel in Chapter 1 saying Asriel will be home next week. So I think Asriel will show up in Chapter 5. I think any later would be too late to introduce him. Like, I know we've heard about him, but, like, if we want to actually get any time with Asriel, and also I think Chapter 6 is the one where shit's gonna go down. Like, Chapter 6 is the Roaring, in my opinion. I think we won't get, like, an individual Dark World in Chapter 6 like every other chapter. I think that will be the Roaring, and that will continue into Chapter 7. Or Chapter 6 will be the Shelter, and Chapter 7 will be the Roaring, or Chapter 6 will be the Roaring, and Chapter 7 will be the Shelter. One of them. Pure Crystal. What does it do? I don't know, we might get it. The Sky Mantle. I think the Sky Mantle will be at least mentioned. If you don't know, the Sky Mantle is an unused item that is similar to the Shadow Mantle, except it defends against holy and electric attacks, which fits Gaster. It fits the description of Gaster being a scientist, so electric, and the creator of Deltarune. He's God, so holy. And I think that's everything I wanted to bring up. This is just rambling. Oh yeah, Ram. I don't think he'll show up until the Shelter. I think he was kidnapped by the Rook, and yeah, the Rook's gonna show up in Chapter 5. If we keep predicting that Friend Inside Me and the Rook will show up, then they've got to show up at some point. Night rematch, hopefully, with the song called Strife by Strife, because of that one prophecy panel, and also Homestuck. Okay, this has been Cassidy Penumbra. I hope you have a good day. Goodbye.